Good morning to our amazing partner, wherever you guys are, or good evening. Big shout out to Michael, which he woke up for us at 4 a.m., if not sooner, to be with us today. Thank you so much, Michael, for taking the time. As usual, kind of 3 reminders that we will take a question in the last 15 minutes of the presentation. So please make sure that there is a question box. You leave your questions there. They will be recorded of this presentation, will be sent out to all the attendees. So please stay back, relax, and enjoy the information that you will absorb today about BCIT. And at the end, we will have a promotion code for you guys as usual in order to take a discount, application discount to apply for BCIT through ApplyBoard. And once again, thank you so much wherever you guys are. I hope that you guys are healthy and safe. I will pass it to Michael. Michael, thank you so much for being us. And once again, thanks for waking up that early for this workshop.
Thank you, Mehdi, and welcome everyone. I'll echo Mehdi's sentiments and hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to BCIT. Well, actually, welcome to my house, but virtually welcome to BCIT. I think we're going to start with a short video, and then I'll go on to make the presentation.
The world today is connected like never before. This connectivity, this open communication, is creating knowledge equity, key to the success and development of every nation.
In the global economy, BCIT's currency is knowledge.
BCIT's applied education model means that everything we do is immediately relevant for the market, for industry, and for society.
We work with international partners to build knowledge infrastructure in solving the real-world problems.
Together with international partners, we build knowledge equity around the world.
Here at BCIT, we're bridging the theory and the laboratory practical experience. Our goal is to share that information at an international level.
We have opportunities for research and advancement, opportunity for innovation.
So those are the encoders. The Mechatronics Robotics program, we've got several partners in the Asia-Pacific region. We're trying to not only innovate with equipment like you see here, but also innovate in education as well.
We get to work with the latest tech that we're going to see in the field.
It's smart business to develop environmental technologies. The emerging markets around the world are all tied to sustainability.
We train students to work on the tugs, tankers, and a whole other range of ships.
It's great that we can be trained to move those resources to other countries around the world.
BCIT is in the right place right now to be in the wheelhouse to guide us through to meet industry demand.
BCIT Aerospace can offer a well-rounded course. This will provide our graduates a good grounding to seek employment here locally or internationally.
Our industry partners understand that the investment in transportation, the human capital, is critical and vital to building a strong and prosperous nation.
Our business faculty produces exactly the courses to keep relevant and competitive in the marketplace.
Any company that has a substantial investment in computer infrastructure, our folks help the businesses prosper.
I like to hire bright people from BCIT. They know how to work hard, they know how to focus, and they know how to be productive very quickly.
BCIT's international partners, they want to replicate our successful stories so they can apply it to their economy to help themselves to grow.
BCIT has a diversity of cultures in both our student body and also our faculty that enables us to work around the world effectively.
We help build economies, we unlock potential. BCIT is shaping the leaders of tomorrow.
We're bridging cultures and we're exchanging knowledge. This collaboration is really what builds a nation.
BCIT, partners in education.
Okay, so that should give you a little bit of an overview of BCIT. At BCIT, it's very much about the facilities, the instructors. As you could see, it's a very hands-on learning environment.
Next slide. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to go over about a dozen points here. We'll start with some fast facts about BCIT. I'll explain the unique education model, talk about the graduate employment rates, our cohort education model, the schools and programs, our admission requirements, etc. So a little bit about BCIT. Okay. So it was founded in 1964, and it is one of Canada's largest post-secondaries with about 50,000 students enrolled annually. We have over 6,000, more like 6,500 international students, and they're coming from about 110 to 115 different countries. So there's a lot of diversity at BCIT. And now we're probably over the 190,000 graduate mark. So quite a strong history of post-secondary education here. BC, British Columbia. So Vancouver is located in the beautiful west coast of Canada. If you're not familiar, if you haven't been here, you should come. It is gorgeous. The city of Vancouver has about 2.5 million people. 40% of our population was born in another country. So it is a very multicultural city. I mean, all of Canada is fairly multicultural, but the bigger cities particularly so. Vancouver is consistently voted one of the most livable cities in the world. And again, it is one of the warmest cities in Canada with only about 11 days of snow per year. Some years we don't get any snow, only in the mountains, but the average is about 11 days. So we have mountains in the east and the ocean in the west. And yeah, it has a climate unlike the rest of Canada. So BCIT is an institute of technology. What does that mean? It's not a college, it's not a university exactly, but I feel that it leans more to the university than to the college. So we have, on the one hand, we have small class sizes. So in programs like automotive service or aircraft maintenance engineering, there are 16, 17 students maximum. We can't go any higher than that, which is great for the students because they get much more one-on-one time with the students, with the instructors, and you know, it's a much more personalized education model. In programs like our School of Business, you can have up to 28 students because students are not working with heavy machinery, so you don't need the ratios to be quite so low. One of the main aspects of the model at BCIT, the education model, is the 50-50 theory practice. So we teach the students, we make them practice. We teach, we make them practice. It's constantly moving from classroom to workshop or laboratory or whichever workspace. But again, it's that mix, that 50-50 mix of theory and practice that really distinguishes BCIT. Also, our industry experienced instructors, our faculty must have industry experience. They cannot come straight out of university and teach at BCIT. They must have worked in their industry. So what that means is the students are getting not just subject matter experts teaching them, they're getting instructors who have knowledge of the workplace, so they can advise students on what it's really like to actually work in that industry. Another key factor are the program advisory committees. Now, a program advisory committee may consist of a half a dozen or 2 dozen or 3 dozen people from that particular industry. So let's say it's biomedical engineering. We will have a program advisory committee that is comprised of people from different hospitals, clinics, other universities, government organizations, pardon me, and their role is to meet with our faculty twice a year to talk about what is happening in the industry at that time, so that our faculty can modify the curriculum to make sure that we are producing students graduates who have the skills that the industry needs. So we stay very closely connected to industries. And again, what it's all about is, oh, sorry, Katie, can we just move back one slide? It's really just about preparing graduates for job opportunities. So in the photo on the left, you can see that's our robotics, mechatronics and robotics lab. Students, again, are in a classroom right next door to the lab. So they're going constantly from classroom to lab, applying what they've learned in the classroom in the lab. On the right side, you see the aircraft maintenance engineering program, and our campus is really outstanding. There are 35 different helicopters and airplanes. Students, again, are moving from the hangar, practicing with the airplanes, to the classroom, back and forth. So back to the advisory committees, you can see this is the Chemical and Environmental Technology program. And the people on the advisory committee all come from different companies around Vancouver. So in this program, there's only about 8 advisory members, but they're important members of the industry. So not only are they advising BCIT about what their needs are in that industry, because they are part of our education model, they're also strong advocates for BCIT. So they will hire our graduates, but they also talk in industry about what kind of education BCIT does. So everybody in that industry knows about, you know, the kind of graduates that come out of BCIT. And that's why really we have one of the highest, probably the highest postgraduate employment rates. It's very important. So last year, our graduate employment rate was 96%. This year, it bumped up to 98%. So 98% of our degree graduates are employed within 6 months in fields related to their subject. At the diploma level, so we do 2-year diplomas and 4-year bachelor degrees. At the diploma level, the postgraduate employment rate is a little bit lower, 91%, but I believe that's probably mostly because many students at BCIT will complete a diploma and then immediately go into the degree. So in computer systems technology, for example, they'll do a 2-year diploma. They can either go out and get a job or continue for 2 more years and finish the bachelor degree. So that's the reason why our diploma numbers are a little bit lower, but it's still very high. It's a cohort model at BCIT. And what that means is the students, when they start a program, everybody starts in September or in January or whatever the date of the program start. But you can't enter the program at a different time. Everybody starts together and they move through the program together. So they go in as a group. In a program like accounting, there'll be 250 people starting in September, but you know, they will mix with other students as they go from term to term. In aircraft maintenance engineering, the photo you see right in front of you, that's our campus again. Students will start as a group of 17 and they will go through 4 semesters together to complete the program. So they create very strong friendships, very strong bonds. They know each other very well. But again, that's the cohort model. And this shows you the term by term what the courses are that the students are doing. So again, unlike universities, and students all start in level 1 and they all take those 6-7 classes. Then they move into level 2 in January and they'll take those 10 classes. It's a little bit longer, it's a 20-week semester. And then they have the summer off, they come back for level 3 in September, and then level 4 again in January, and that's it. That's their diploma. And at the end of that diploma, they've done about 120 credits in a 2-year program. And that's what we mean by intensive study. So one of our slogans at BCIT is intensive study for a complex world. In a 2-year program, students will do about the same number of credits that they would do in a 4-year degree in many universities. So in our engineering diplomas, the average, I believe the average credits for a 2-year program is about 135 or 140. And again, in many universities, you would do that in 4 years. So it's very intensive studies. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can handle the BCIT programs because they are in school 30 hours a week and they probably have as much homework. So for students who need to work to sustain themselves during the semester, there are times when it just gets too busy. They can't continue to work. You know, they're allowed to work 20 hours in Canada, but it's very hard to do that unless they're extremely focused individuals and very good at time management. But it is a very intensive model. Okay, so just to go back over the education model, we start with industry. So industry dictates what they need. We follow industry. Again, to differentiate us from a research university that tries to lead industry with new concepts, with new research. BCIT takes the opposite direction. So industry tells us what kind of skills they need their employees to have, and we prepare students with applied education. So again, 50-50 theory practice. When you graduate from BCIT, you don't just know something, you know how to do it. So we promote skill development. We provide applied education, so students develop skills, not just knowledge. And that's why when they graduate, they are job ready and why they can expect high employment outcomes.
Michael, sorry that I jumped here. Do you want to do the first poll? What is the BCIT most important focus?
Sure.
Katie, if you don't mind, bring that poll up. What is the BCIT most focus? Our program, our world-class training facilities, our industry experience faculty, our applied education that leads to employment. 11% people, 20% people voted. Come on, we want to see who been listening. 35, 40% people have voted.
I should have told you there was going to be a test.
They used to that. In the last TRW, we didn't do the test. I think they were like, maybe we wouldn't have tests again. But 55% of people has voted so far. So almost 60%, and we should be good to go. I can see majority is getting the right answer.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, they're all important factors. You know, we have great programs. Our facilities are really incredible. Our industry experienced faculty are very important to the whole concept. But really, if I put it in a nutshell, all of those elements, the programs, the facilities, the faculty, it all points to applied education that leads to high employment outcomes. And this is a screenshot of our homepage, and you'll see that 98%. We're very proud of that, and it's logical if you think about it. Employers, you know, they do hire students from other colleges and universities, but they know when they hire a BCIT graduate that they studied intensively and that their programs were focused on the skills that that industry needs. So in Canada, that is well known.
It seems, Michael, is a chain that because they know and they ask you guys for those programs, so they can rely on your graduates and they can pretty much have their eyes closed and hire them, which is, as you said, is very rarely to see 98% of graduates of the schools get job immediately, pretty much, right? So that's really amazing to seeing those things is really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so, Meti. You hit the nail on the head there. And really I think for me, the program advisory committees are a key to that. If we didn't engage with industry through those program advisory committees, we wouldn't know what they need and they wouldn't know what we do. But by making them a part of our education model, they know what we do. We benefit from their knowledge of where industry is going. It's really an excellent model for the kind of training that we do. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the programs at BCIT. Now, when you research when you have a student who's interested in a program that BCIT may provide, you would go to our international site. So if you, from the main page, you just look for international students, and you'll come to this welcome page, and in there you'll see the programs, and you'll click on the full-time programs. And you'll see that we have 6 different schools. We have the School of Business and Media. That's the largest school at BCIT. It has the most programs, the most students. But the School of Construction and the Environment, School of Health Sciences. School of Health Sciences has the fewest programs for international students because in Canada, we need many more healthcare professionals. And so we are mandated by the government to produce so many, domestic graduates for the hospitals and clinics and other healthcare facilities here. So unfortunately, we have the least capacity in health services. School of Energy is one of the very hottest schools, I would say, with mechanical engineering and mechatronics, robotics. School of Transportation, we do land, sea, and air, so automotive, aviation, and marine. And then School of Computing and Academic Studies is computing.
Pretty much, I think BCIT has program for any student. Anything you want to study, there is option for you.
Except for liberal arts.
I don't think so. We need more of them at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dominic Barton. He's he's now the ambassador to China.
Okay.
Canada's ambassador to China. But he's a very well-known business leader, and he coined the phrase that the world needs more BCIT.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's a good one. It's true, because we have lots of liberal arts schools. We have lots of research universities. They're doing great work, and we need good research. But when you think about it, when you do an undergraduate, you're not really involved in research, right? You're developing a base of education. But BCIT doesn't do, we have applied research, which is more industry focused, but our programs, again, are focused on teaching people the skills they need for the jobs of today. Yeah. So we have about 300 to 350 programs, and about a half of those are available to international students. And I'll just give you an overview of the programs in the different schools. So, First, it's important to understand the credentials at BCIT. So it's kind of a step up from a certificate, which might be usually about a 1-year program. Then you get a lot of professionals already working in this industry who come back to BCIT to do a 1-year certificate to upgrade their qualifications. So for international students, many of them like the 1-year certificates because they're not necessarily looking to stay in Canada, but they want to increase their educational value. The 2-year diploma is really the most popular program for international students because, first of all, it gets them the 3-year postgraduate work permit in Canada. If you study for 2 years, you should get the 3-year postgraduate work permit. It's just about the right length of time. It also gives the students the opportunity. After 2 years, they can either go work or they can study for 2 more years and complete their bachelor degree at BCIT. Then we do have a handful of advanced diplomas, bachelor degrees, and a handful of master's degrees. The reason we don't have a lot of master's degrees is because they're not research focused. There is research, there has to be research, it's a master's degree, but we still maintain that applied aspect of the programming. So the students are doing applied research in building engineering, building science, ecological restoration, and a few other areas. So that's the BCIT credential model. And again, if we look back at the School of Business and Media, you'll see we have programs in accounting. There's a diploma and a degree. There's a BBA. We do business management, finance, financial planning. A very popular program is general insurance and risk management. 100% of those students get a job right out of the diploma because the insurance companies need people who are specifically trained for the insurance industry. They love BCIT graduates. They wish we could do more. International business management is a very popular program for international students, of course, because it's international trade, it's in global supply chain, and right now, more than ever, we understand the value of supply chains. We have 4 different options in marketing. Another very important and popular program for international students is business information technology management. Then we have the digital arts programs, 3D modeling, digital design, graphic communication. There's also another one called new media and web development. There's a master's of digital animation, digital media, but that's a joint program with 4 universities, including UBC, SFU, and Emily Carr University. And then we have a broadcast and media center. So we have we have TV studios, we have radio studios, we have a radio station, and it's a working radio station. So if you're in Vancouver and you turn into 107.9, you'll hear the BCIT students broadcasting. And then there's online journalism as well. In the School of Applied Computing and Academic Studies, the main programs here, I would say, are computer information technology, computer systems technology, 2-year diplomas. Again, once they complete that, they are programmers. They can go out and get a job, no problem. Some of them decide to continue for 2 more years and complete a degree, a bachelor degree in games development or network security applications. And we have a new program in full stack web development. These are very competitive programs. Getting into them is a little bit challenging, actually. The computing programs will get 5 to 10 applicants for every seat. So the students must have strong academic backgrounds. Okay, School of Construction and the Environment, we have architectural science, that's a bachelor degree, building engineering, 2 different masters, civil engineering, construction management, then we have some environmental programs, geographic information systems, GIS, geomatics, and we even have a mining program. In the School of Energy, again, very popular area for BCIT, we fill these programs, no problem. Chemical, environmental tech, electrical and computer engineering technology is the first 2 years of the electrical engineering degree. So again, 2-year diploma, 2 more years to complete the degree. Industrial network cybersecurity is a very hot new program. Everybody knows what cybersecurity is, but industrial cybersecurity is slightly different because industries today have lots of mechanical components that are networked. And hackers, if they get into your network components, they can shut down factories, manufacturing, even like nuclear facilities. So it's a very important area that actually the government of Canada asked BCIT to develop this program. It was developed in, I think, in a year and a half, and we just launched it last year. Mechanical engineering, a very popular program. And then we have a 2-year diploma in mechatronics and robotics. which when the students graduate, they can go into the electrical engineering bachelor degree. School of Health Sciences, yeah, very few programs. The main ones are biomedical engineering technology. That's a very hot program. That's not related to genetics or anything. It's the technology in hospitals and clinics in any healthcare facility. So students learn how to design or how to repair, manufacture biomedical technology. The next one is the food technology program, very popular with international students, and occupational health and safety. Those are the three main diplomas. The other programs listed are the bachelor degrees. School of Transportation. The aircraft maintenance engineering program is a really special program. It is a 2-year diploma, and when students graduate, they are ready to go work in any aviation company that maintains helicopters or airplanes. So lots of job opportunities. It is mandated by Transport Canada. So when the students complete the program, they are accredited 1,800 hours towards their required 4,800 hours in order to write the licensing exam. We have 4 classes every year dedicated to international students. So 17 students per class multiplied by 4 every year. We fill those classes every semester. Every program, every class is completely full. Right now, we are accepting students to January 2021, and I'm pretty sure that class is finished, and then we have 2 classes in March 2021 that will start filling soon. Very popular program. There's also a similar program, but it's in avionics, and that's the electrical systems, the telecommunication systems on airplanes. Very interesting program for students who are more interested in electronics in aviation. Airport operations is the business of airports. So students will learn everything they need to know to work in an airport. And then we have the automotive service technician programs. Those are co-op programs where the students study 4 terms at BCIT, and they do 2 co-ops. In the aircraft maintenance engineering, there's no co-op. But when you see our facilities, it's the same thing as they would experience in any company. So they get the co-op basically at BCIT. Okay, on to admissions requirements. So just looking at the main page, one of the first programs that you see when you look at the full-time programs available for international students is biomedical engineering technology. And as you can see, the red circle around entrance program entry, that's where you would click to see the entrance requirements for this program. So if you clicked on program entry, this is what comes up, and you'll see, first of all, application processing. This is a competitive entry program, which means that there's a start date. We start accepting applications on October 1st. There's an end date, April 15th. When we will not assess, when we receive applications for this program, the admissions officers will review the applications. If the students meet the requirements, then the application goes to department review, and we have to wait until April 15th before the department will review the applicants. And then the faculty will decide which students they accept. So the entrance requirements for this are English 12, 67% average. That's an IELTS 6.5, a CALE 70, a TOEFL 86. Then they require math, chemistry, and physics at those particular grade levels and scores. There's also a couple of additional requirements for this program, a questionnaire and a self-assessment. And if the student, as long as the student meets all of those minimum requirements, they will be sent for faculty review. Okay, then contrast that with a program like general insurance and risk management. So this is the applications. If you look at application processing, it says Applications, we begin accepting applications on October 1st, or if that's a Sunday, then the next business day, but there's no deadline. So this program is first qualified, first accepted. So if you meet the requirements on October 1st, you're accepted on October 1st. Well, maybe it'll take a couple of weeks for us to get to your application, but if you understand what I mean, we don't have to wait for a deadline to pass. The faculty are not reviewing the applications. They're satisfied that if the students have a minimum of an IELTS 6.5 and math from grade 11 with a 67% average, then they're good enough for the program. That's all they need. Speaking of the English requirements, again, for most programs at BCIT, they require a high school a high school grade 12, 67% average, which converts to, as you see, the CAIL, the IELTS, the TOEFL, the PTE. We have English upgrading at BCIT. We have the International Student Entry Program, which is a very structured program. It has 6 intakes per year. It runs for 7 weeks per intake. And there are 6 levels. When the students graduate from the highest level, then they don't need to take any other language testing. They're just accepted to their program. We also work with 2 private ESL partner schools, VGC International College and Kaplan International. So similar to the International Student Entry Program, if the students complete their studies at VGC or Kaplan, they can come directly to BCIT. No further testing is required. Right now, because of the COVID-19 situation, we've decided to implement the Duolingo test. So students can apply with if the program requires a 67% English 12 average, then they need a 115 on the Duolingo. Some programs will require English 12 at a 73% average. Then the Duolingo score is 120. And the CAIL, IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, the scores are also a little bit higher. I believe now the students can also do the TOEFL home-based test. And it's, I think the score is similar to the IBT.
And also, I think IELTS just yesterday announced that they are going to have online testing starting from April 22nd. So it's handling by all 3, so British Council, IDP, and Oxford. Apparently, they all 3 doing that together, so it's not IDP or British Council. I'll send a link afterward, but it's just announced yesterday. So
that's great, Meti. Thank you. I hadn't heard that yet. Appreciate that. Thank you. I'll have to bring that to our English committee. Okay. All right, on to student services. So we have lots of student services for international students. 4 years ago, we brought international student services under the international department. Prior to that, it was just part of the general student services at BCIT. But since that time, we've really ramped up the services for our international students. We have quite a large staff in the main campus. I'm just going to be a little bit cognizant of my time and try to speed it up a little bit. In terms of housing, we have on-campus housing, but it is kind of limited. The campus plan is to build a large new dormitory in the next couple of years. But if students, we can't get them into on-campus housing, then we also have a homestay company that does all of our homestays. So the residence at BCIT is called the McKenna Residence. They're small buildings. There are, I believe, 12 of them. And as you can see here, it's quite nice, actually. There's a big sports field right next to it. The students who stay there seem to love it. I just wish we had more rooms. Okay, I think this is the admissions tips. So application tips, sorry. So I think one of the first things that you should do when you're trying to determine if it's a good program for your student is determine if it is a competitive or a first qualified, first accepted model. It's very important because if it's competitive, then the students scores in English and math and the other requirements are very important. If they just meet the minimum requirements, they're probably not going to be competitive. But if it's a first qualified, first accepted student or model, then it doesn't matter what their grades are, as long as they have the minimum scores, go ahead and apply, because as long as we have a seat available still, we will accept them. Before you apply, I would say make sure that the student meets the entrance requirements, because we don't have conditional acceptance. Because it's a cohort model, we have just a specific number of seats in each program, and it's about 20% of all the seats in the program. Apply as soon as possible. Programs fill up fast. Right now, we probably have a dozen programs that still have seats available. And ensure these students understand the application process. Okay. I'm trying to rush through. Only a few more slides. So we do have a code of conduct that we ask all of our agents to read, and that's available on the website, as well as a so there's the code of conduct, and then there's the policy on privacy policy, I believe it's called. Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy policy. So please visit the website, or just, Meti, do we send out this presentation to everybody? Great. I just asked that everybody read it. It's very important, and it's pretty standard. They're pretty standard.
Thank you so much. I think that was the end of it. Why not before we asking the question, because we still have 2 minutes of presentation. Katie, if you don't mind, let's launch the second poll and see how our amazing audience were listening. We have 2 polls question, and then we can jump to the questions being asked by our partners. So how many programs are available to international students at BCIT? 125, 150, 300, 350. 30% people have voted already.
Oh.
40% people have voted. Let's get to over 60%, guys. Cool. We can close the poll, and the correct answer was 150.
Very good. Yes,
Michael?
Yes, there are 300 or between 300 and 350 programs at BCIT, but only about 150 are available to international students.
Thank you so much.
Very good.
Let's jump to the next poll question, Katie, if you don't mind. And the next question will be, what are the BCIT's CAL and IELTS interest requirement for the grade 12 English at 67%? CAL 70, no less than 60, and IELTS 6.5, no less than 6. CAL 70, no less than 60, and IELTS requirement 6.5. CAL 75, no less than 60, and IELTS 7, no less than 6. CAL 70, no less than 6, 60, and then IELTS 7. So 34% of people have voted. I know, guys, this is a tricky one. I'll let Michael to confirm the answer, you know. So we can close the poll, and I believe.
Oh. Okay, so the 50% were right. We don't have a minimum IELTS score. So right now we're just looking at the overall band. I think there are 1 or 2 programs that do have a minimum requirement of 6.0. So the 48% of you were right. But most of the programs, it's CAL 70, no less than 60, and IELTS 6.5 overall. We're not looking at the individual bands.
That's amazing. This is very good to see that. I was super surprised. So I was in BCIT 2 years ago. I love the campus. You never expect, because when you walk in, how like massive is the campus. So I went to 12th the campus. I was so surprised at how much BCIT cares about the end result rather than just the today's results, right? You guys truly believe you want to make sure students get job after. You guys truly want to make sure the students get successful, which is amazing. So thank you so much, Michael, for taking us through that amazing presentation. I'm gonna open the questionnaires and the questions and start asking. Please let me know if there is a mandatory questionnaire form that is need to be completed for studying. Students need to study diploma program in international business management. Does that sound anything to you? I don't know, what is that?
Yeah, no, I totally understand. International business management is a first qualified, first accept program. So students don't, as long as they have English 12, 67, so IELTS 6.5, and math from grade 11 with a 67% average, they will be accepted. No questionnaire, it's not a competitive entry program.
That's amazing. Michael, next question. He says, we try submitting application, but because of the situation, the students changed their mind. Now the student is back. Would you guys extend your September intake deadline? Is any program has been extended, or anything that is open, technically it's open?
Yesterday, I sent out an email to all of our agents, pardon me, and we have about a dozen programs that still have seats available. So there are only a few that are competitive entry that are still open. All of the other ones are first qualified. So yes, if you apply, you could contact me or through ApplyBoard, right? If you reach me, you can ask me specifically about which program the student is interested in. Sometimes, pardon me, sometimes the program will be full, but there's no wait list. And so we will accept students to the wait list, because sometimes, very often, students will drop out. And so the students on the wait list can still get into the program. Or sometimes the domestic students don't fill all of their seats. And so we can get extra seats from the domestic side.
Yep. On that, Michael, based on first of all, everyone, our partner, knows that in our website, they can see the programs that are available. But as of now, in business, there's financial planning, business management, international business management, marketing management. In media, there's a broadcast and online journalisms, graphic designs, and in engineering, there is a mining tech, geomestic, and chemical environment tech. And in computer, there is industrial network cybersecurity that is available. This is a list that we got yesterday. It is updated in our website, so if you guys want. But as Michael said, we have seen that it kind of like in the 3 months to 4 months to start off the intake, sometimes you open the new programs because the domestic hasn't filled up. So keep eyes on our website, guys. We always try to keep those information up to date. BCIT communicates very well with us, so we have the most accurate information for you guys. Next question, how many years of education gap is acceptable for BCIT for UG program or your master's program?
Oh, for the master's program, it doesn't matter. Again, if a student's been working for 20 years in civil engineering or architecture and they want to come and do our master's of building engineering, I think that 10, 15 years of work experience is more valuable than the education. So the faculty really look at the students' work experience as well as what they graduated with. For the undergraduate programs, BCIT, the average age of our students is about 25 years old. Many students will come to BCIT after they finish a bachelor degree in another university because they can't find a job. They have a university degree, but it didn't train them for anything. So about 70% of our students come after they finish a bachelor degree, and that's domestic and international. So the average age of our students, we do get 30% of our students straight out of high school, but all the rest of them are either coming from a job or from another university. So the age range can be quite varied. We'll have, 19-year-old students, and we'll have 40, 50-year-old students. That's just the nature of BCIT. So the gap doesn't really matter to us.
Got it. The next question, Michael, on top of your mind, do you know any program that does not require grade 12 mathematics?
All of the business programs don't require grade 12 mathematics. Most of the tech programs like computing and engineering, most of those programs would require grade 12 math. I'm not sure about the mining program or geomatics, but I suspect they might require grade 12 math.
I'm trying to ask that. Oh, what are the average tuition fee? We didn't talk about tuition fee. Do you want to?
Good point. Thank you. I would say the average tuition per year is about 20,000 Canadian. There are some programs that are a little bit more, a few programs that are a little bit less, but on average, it's about 20,000 Canadian per year. So for a 2-year diploma, it's around $40,000. When you get into year 3 and 4 of the bachelor degree, it might go up to 22,000, 24,000, but the diplomas are usually around 20,000.
That's amazing compared to how much you guys put into the experience teaching the students. That's really reasonable price. And Michael, in the next question, what happened to the current situation for your students that start in May? Can you a little bit collaborate on that? Did you guys go online? Is it deferred? So if we have students that they are currently in this, what's going on with that?
Yeah, so most of the programs have gone online. The problem for BCIT is that, a big part of our program is not theory, it's practice. So it's going to start becoming a problem over time if we can't get back into the shops to give the students the applied practice. But in the interim, they have moved all of the programs. There may be a few that they canceled, but most of the programs have gone to an online format. In May, we don't actually have many programs that start. Only 2 in April and 2 in May. And most of the students that actually they were digital arts programs, 3D modeling, art and animation, new media, web development. So those are easy programs to do online. So for programs like that, no problem. But aircraft maintenance engineering, they have to work on the airplanes. But we had 2 international cohorts that started in March. They actually postponed it to end of April. So they'll start on the 27th of April and they will start it online. So they're going to front load the program with all the theory. And then hopefully by June, July, they'll be back into the shops. I think they'll probably find a way to enable students to work still on the airplanes.
That's what I was thinking. How are they supposed to work on the planes? We don't want the student goes to the nearest airport, took the airplanes apart, right? There is a next question, which is more of the from South Asia. How many backlogs are acceptable?
I'm not sure. Can you clarify the question, Mehdi? Backlogs?
In India specifically, when the students are studying, if they fail technically, then they redo it. So let's say if they fail 9 courses, then they have 9 backlogs that they did at the end pass the course, but there are some courses that in their undergrad that they have failed. So do you really guys care, or you just look at the total and those courses specific, as long as the student has those total and courses specific minimum requirement, then you guys are fine?
No, so it's not that with BCIT. So because it's a cohort model, all the students start with the first level. They do 7 courses. They have to pass those courses to go to the next level.
No, Michael, this is when they come, before they come. Let's say I'm applying for your master. I took 4 years of undergrad in India, but I took it in 5 years because I failed some.
I'm sorry.
But at the end, I passed, so I have some backlog. Does that make any problem, or as long as I have an overall of what is acceptable and then courses is fine?
Yeah, thanks, Meti. It doesn't matter. No, we're just looking at the degree. We'll look at the transcripts for sure, and there'll have to be a credential evaluation done. But we're looking at the overall GPA. We're looking at sometimes specific scores in specific courses like linear algebra or matrix differential equations. And we'll look at the specific scores for those courses, but overall, otherwise, we're just looking at the overall performance. We're not, master's programs have a minimum GPA requirement. As long as they have that, they'll be considered. Although sometimes they may have a little bit lower GPA, but they have great work experience. And so we can sometimes get students into programs based on their work experience.
Got it. And there is a good question, which I think it was really important, and that at least what I'm taking away from BCIT. Can you again emphasize on why BCIT is really more closer to university and is neither college or university? Can you fresh everyone on that?
Yep, good question. I think it's closer to a university because, well, first of all, we can do master's degrees, right? And colleges typically don't. That's really the main quality for me that distinguishes it as a higher education, higher on the education hierarchy than a college. Yeah, I mean, it is different from a college and a university because of the intensity of the programs. I don't know a lot of schools in Canada that students have to study 30 hours a week in class. So the amount of theory they're getting, to me, it's similar to a university, but then they're also getting the hands-on training. So like I said, it's a 50-50 split. The 50% theory is still equal to what they're doing in a university, but then they're getting another 50% where they're applying the theory. But yeah, it isn't a university, it isn't a college, it's an institute of technology, and I think people struggle a lot with what exactly that means. Yeah. It is different, but it's in Canada and around the world, it's just a bachelor degree from BCIT is equally respected.
I thank you so much, Michael, for our amazing partner, wherever you guys are. Thank you so much for the great question. The promo code was there, application fee, if it's about $154, if I'm not making a mistake, through ApplyBoard, you get 50% off for the next 2 weeks. So please go and apply for your student. Once again, Michael, really appreciate it for taking your time, waking up that early, and wherever you guys are, stay healthy and stay safe, and work all together in this.
Thank you, Meti. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Katie, in the background. It was a pleasure speaking to everybody, and yeah, I hope I answered all your questions.
It was amazing. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thanks, Meti.
Go back to bed. Bye.